Shakeup at the Pentagon, 3 top senior officials resigning on Tuesday following President Trump's firing of Defense Secretary Mark Esper. Joining me right now is retired 4-star General, Fox News senior strategic analyst, General Jack Keane. And General, it's always a pleasure to see you, but of course, even more special on this day. I want to start by thanking you for your incredible service to our great country on this Veterans Day, sir.
Oh, thank you, Maria, and thank you for the service of all of our veterans who, fought to establish the country, to preserve the Union, and help stabilize the world in the 19th century and the 20th century, and certainly what we've done to protect the American people in the 21st century with the 9/11 war is a tremendous sacrifice by our veterans, to be sure, and a grateful nation. Thank you.
That's absolutely right, and you all empower all of us, the rest of us. General, what's your take on the changes at the Pentagon? How does this change the agenda?
Well, I think people are wringing their hands about this and looking for some kind of conspiracy here that by the Trump administration. But, for our audience to understand, on January the 19th, about 70 days from now, if there's a transition to a Biden administration, every single political appointee in government will leave their office never to return. And in the Pentagon, that will certainly take place as well. And it'll take months to get new political appointees into their positions. But the Pentagon is the most resilient and most robust organization in the United States government. Why is that? Because of the uniformed services, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and the Joint Chiefs and all of our combatant commanders around the world and all the commanders that work for all of them remain in place. There's no political transition for them. So this is an organization that is very stable, even though we're going through a major political transition.
What about Joe Biden's potential plans, General? Biden told Fox News that he has several executive orders ready to sign on day one, should he assume the presidency. Among them, he says he'll rejoin the United States into the Paris Climate Accords, reinstate DACA, he'll rejoin the World Health Organization. There's also some conversation that perhaps he will get the United States back into the Iran deal. What are your thoughts?
Well, some of that is largely symbolic in the sense of the WHO and certainly the Paris Climate Accord to demonstrate to the world that this administration is concerned about multilateralism. They're going to participate in organizations, even though these organizations are less than perfect. So I think that's what that is about. The nuclear deal, I think. First of all, the Biden administration will likely accept the strategic framework that President Trump and his team established. Big power competition, China the #1 threat, Russia also a major threat, regional threats in North Korea and Iran. And I think they will buy into that. How they deal with that in terms of their tone will be different. A little bit more conciliatory, I suspect, towards President Xi, and not so much interested in trade deals and using tariffs to impose them, and probably a little tougher tone dealing with the Russians than we currently are using now. But when it comes to Iran, I think you put your finger on it. If this new administration is going to blunder, it will be over Iran. And it will be not recognizing how much has happened since the nuclear deal was first formed in 2015. Iran's behavior, taking a windfall of money, $150 billion, has gotten worse. And that is why we have the peace deals taking place in the Middle East between the Arabs and the Israelis. This is an area where Biden team, if they just do the knee-jerk reaction and get back into the nuclear deal, it may be a serious strategic blunder.
This is a really important point. We only have 20 seconds here, General, but in terms of those peace deals in the Middle East, do you think they'd come to a halt? Should that happen? I mean, we were all talking about other countries joining United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and of course, Sudan now is the latest.
Well, those deals would not have taken place without the aggressiveness of the United States and particularly President Trump in wanting them to take place and bringing the parties together. Some of them took well over a year in negotiations. The American people weren't privy to that because they wanted these things done in secret and privacy. It depends on the Biden administration's commitment to establishing a broad coalition in the Middle East that's willing to stand up against the Iranians. If they're going to appease the Iranians, likely these deals are not going to take place. It remains to be seen.
All right, we'll be watching that. It's real important. And also want to talk to you next time about the defense budget and whether or not you think it'll get cut. General, it's great to see you this morning, sir. Thank you.